Hey guys, it's me, the dude who talks, and welcome to a new video. So for today, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of talking about an album by a singular band, I've been given the task to talk about a compilation album by lots of different artists. So the compilation album in question is called Bong, and it was put out by Halfmeltedbrain Records in an effort to raise money for the local gig venue in Brighton called the Pipeline, which, with the ongoing situation with the pandemic, is obviously at risk. So in an effort to try and raise funds, Halfmeltedbrain Records put out a 14-track album on their Bandcamp featuring a number of underground artists. Now, I wanted to do this because it does speak out to me because, with the current situation, a lot of gig venues are facing closure and, it's just a very shitty time. I don't know whether you've seen in the news that Deaf Institute and Gorilla are going to close regardless of, the pandemic subsiding or whether gigs are going to be allowed back into the UK. Yeah, it's just a shitty time. And I know Boris Johnson, put out a £1 billion lifeline to the performing arts, but, I don't really like him. So, I just wanted to talk about this compilation album because of that. Anyway, what did I think of Bong Grenades? Did I like it, or did I wish it was an actual grenade that blew me up instead so I wouldn't have to listen to it again? Let us find out. So the first track is, for me, in my opinion, is an absolute solid banger, and it is from Oh Guy's Big Band with the song Etna. Now, you may or may not have seen my video last year about their EP called Harm, which I think more people should listen to, and I think Etna was their best song on the EP in my opinion. It's this loud, heavy psych number which will just draw you right in, and I think it's a great way to start the compilation. So so far so good. And then the next track managed to really grab me as well, which was called Pussy Fatigue by Sander Cohen. I was actually really genuinely floored by this because it had this loud, noisy, heavy vibe. Reminded me a little bit of Will Haven, in my opinion, and from then I was sold. And there's another song that Sander Cohen have on this as well, which is called Invisible Monsters. And if you aren't sold on Pussy Fatigue, Invisible Monsters will definitely grab your attention. For me, those two songs are just raw chaos. After having my ears twatted by Sander Cohen, the next artist is Codex Serafini with the song Kronos, which has this acid rock and freak out vibe similar to bands like Acid Mother's Temple. Though I really enjoyed it, what really sold it for me was the saxophone inclusion, and you know me, I love anything with saxophone in it because it just goes well with any type of heavy music. Also, they've got another song on this with the Fountains of Enceladus, which is more or less the same thing. I think has a bit more of a dreamlike vibe to it, which really spoke to me in a way. I like my dream stuff. So what's good about this compilation is that there's some really good variety. Now, this is going to be a weird analogy, but I like to compare it to, those variety cereal packs you got as a kid? Or maybe you still do, I don't know. For me, I got them on holidays. Kellogg's brought out, Frosties, Cocoa Pops, and Rice Krispies, and Cornflakes, I think, were on it. Anyway, my point is it's similar to this. You got some psych, you got some heavy noise rock, and you got some sludge, especially with Ariza, who have a couple of songs on this with the song Green Rush, which is a suitably heavy jaunt, nice sludgy number with some nice filthy bass tones, and some pretty sick riffs. Though it's not just a standard sludge fare, it's goes a bit off the deep end at the midway point, where it shows it's not just slow and heavy, they can go fast as well, and that's more apparent with their other song on this compilation called 41%, which veers more into grindcore power violence territory, and I do this is what I love about their song 41%, is that it's got some really cool sound effects that sound like sci-fi lasers from those 80s films, and I just thought that's really cool. So yeah, so what else is on this EP? There's a couple of tracks from Traps, who have spoken about many a times and will continue to do so, because I think they're a band that really push themselves creatively and are definitely worthy of your attention. So the songs they've got on here is The Count from the Fighter EP, and that's a song that's literally has a few subgenres thrown into the mix and then blended out into like a 4 minute, very like spastic, violent, heavy song, and with a little bit of really good melody in it. So yeah, definitely give that a shot. And also you've got Bombshell, which is from the Brain We release, which is a much more darker, more electronic kind of noisy song. So there's that as well, so definitely check that out. So what else is there? Right, there's this one track that really stood out for me, and that was Chime Hours by Oh Guys, which is the solo venture of Oh Guys Big Band, if I'm correct. It's this kind of very chilled out ambient number, has a nice laid back beat, and kind of reminded me of a band called Hood, which you may or may not know, but they kind of do this kind of alternative, glitchy, ambient indie stuff, and it reminded me of an instrumental song of theirs. There were a couple of bands that went further out there. For example, the band Nuclear Breakfast, really cool name. The first song of theirs was called Heath Ledger. Has this kind of lo-fi garage punk vibe to it with some garbled vocals. Kind of wasn't my cup of tea, in all honesty. Wasn't bad or anything, but I just felt the guitars didn't have that bite to it that I really like. Though I did prefer the next song, which had more like feedback to it. It was like, felt like Turn to 11, and that song was called the K-Rave Party Suit. Now, got to give them props, their song titles. Also, if I watched them live, I reckon I'd probably be deaf. The last song on the compilation was more of a what the fuck song. This was called The Shrander by the band Gateway Drug, which has this kind of drony doom vibe at the start of the song, and then has these like black metal shrieking vocals with this weird echo effects added to the vocals, which for me strangely works. There's also some weird effects used which also work, give it this weird atmospheric noise which could be like the soundtrack to someone's losing their mind at an end of a music festival. I know I've been there. Now, most of it was really good, but there was one song on it that I wasn't too keen on, and that was 11 by Archdruid. Now, it wasn't too bad in my opinion, but for me it felt a little ploddy, too much. It was like 10 minutes long, and it felt very sparse. Now, I think this may be because it was just out of context. I imagine if it was part of an album, I might just enjoy it a bit more. And that's not to say that these guys are probably more of a decent live act instead of an actual recording, so may just be that. But overall, it's a very varied compilation featuring a lot of heavy stuff, a lot of out there stuff, a lot of what the fuck stuff, and a lot of stuff in between. It may not be for everyone, but surely you can appreciate why this compilation exists. Also, I think it serves as something for if you want to dip your toes into more like experimental stuff, if you're tired of just the same old shit, maybe give this a try, and for £6 you really can't go wrong. And for the copy I received a few bonus tracks as well, so you might receive them as well, I do not know, featuring artists like Avenged Eaten Name, Agaya, or as I like to call them now, Bagfire, and there's another Archdruid song, and there's another song called Mort Safe, which was just literally just what the fuck. So yeah, give it a shot if you want. I'll include a link in the description, so yeah, have at it. Oh, that was me talking about Bong Grenades. I'm really interested to know what you thought about the compilation album. If you checked it out, please let me know what you thought about it down below in the comment section. So hopefully, if this pandemic subsides, I'd love to check out the scene down in Brighton. Hopefully, if the pipeline's still standing, I'd love to go there and check the scene out. I think it'll be pretty cool from what I've heard on Bong Grenades. So, like always, if you've enjoyed this near 10-minute ramble, please like, share and subscribe. Really helps out. I've also got a Facebook page which I'll include on the comment description or whatever. So feel free to give that a like as well. I'm usually posting stuff there weekly, daily when I get the chance, so please feel free to talk to me on there. So all I've got left to say to you guys is, I've been the Doo Doo Talks. You guys are absolutely fucking awesome, and I'll see you soon. Alright guys, I'm sorry you haven't got rid of me just yet. I'm just here to awkwardly talk to you for about a few seconds, saying that I've got a few more videos, which if you've enjoyed this video, you might want to check out a couple of others. So there's like 2 boxes round here, and there's also the subscribe thing, like I know it's mirrored. So yeah, up here, so if you want to give that a click as well. So yeah, alright guys, take care.